Hamas has launched a devastating attack on Israel, prompting Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to declare war, resulting in over 600 Israeli casualties. But could this be the start of the rapture? Is it the end? Today, let's dive into this video to explore the unfolding events and their possible significance. The ruling Hamas militant group in the Gaza Strip launched a massive attack on Israel, which was a surprise, and it happened during a significant Jewish holiday called Simchat Torah. On this day, Jews celebrate finishing reading the Torah scroll. The attack involved firing thousands of rockets and Hamas fighters infiltrating Israel's heavily fortified borders using air, land, and sea methods. The number of casualties in Israel reached a tragic high, with over 600 people dead and 1,800 injured. It's the deadliest day in Israel in many years. On the other side, more than 300 Palestinians have lost their lives due to Israeli airstrikes on Gaza. Hamas militants announced that they are holding dozens of Israeli civilians and soldiers as captives in Gaza. This is a significant escalation in the ongoing conflict. Moreover, the Hamas fighters spread out across 22 locations outside Gaza, including towns up to 15 miles from the Gaza border. In some places, they attacked civilians and soldiers, while Israel's military struggled to respond effectively. The Israeli military confirmed that Hamas had taken Israeli civilians and soldiers hostage, although they didn't specify how many. The situation is complex, and the Israeli Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, made it clear that this war would be difficult and take time. Gun battles and standoffs continued throughout Saturday, with militants holding hostages in some towns. Israeli forces worked hard to regain control of occupied areas. During this intense situation, even rocket attacks from Gaza targeted an Israeli hospital, causing damage but no reported casualties. On the other hand, Israeli airstrikes in Gaza grew more intense after nightfall, causing significant damage, including the destruction of a 14-story building that held apartments and Hamas offices. What does the Bible say about attacks on Israel? In the book of Ezekiel, chapters 38 and 39, the Bible provides insights into the prophetic aspects of Israel in the context of war conditions. In these passages, the word of the Lord is conveyed to Ezekiel, instructing him to address a significant threat to the land of Israel. The biblical text mentions a figure named Gog, who is identified as the prince of Rosh, Meshech, and Tubal. Gog is associated with a coalition of nations, including Persia, Ethiopia, Libya, Gomer, and Togarmah. These nations are described as being equipped for war with a multitude of soldiers, horses, and weaponry, suggesting a formidable military force. Ezekiel, chapter 38, verses 1-6. God's message through Ezekiel continues by describing a future scenario. It speaks of a time when Israel would have been regathered from various nations and dwelled safely in their land. Gog and his allies will be stirred to action with a plan to attack Israel. Ezekiel, chapter 38, verses 8-10. Interestingly, the biblical passage mentions that at this time, Israel will be dwelling in unwalled villages, seemingly unprepared for war, and in a state of relative peace. Ezekiel chapter 38, verse 11. The purpose of Gog's invasion is described as an intent to plunder and seize the wealth and livestock of Israel. Other nations, including Sheba, Dedan, the merchants of Tarshish, and their young lions, question Gog's motives, asking if he has come to take plunder and booty. Ezekiel chapter 38, verse 13. This suggests that Gog's actions will attract international attention and curiosity. Ezekiel's prophecy also foretells that when the Gog attacks Israel, it will be like a cloud covering the land. This invasion is depicted as occurring in the latter days and is linked to a divine purpose so that the nations may come to know God when he is hallowed in Gog's defeat before their eyes. Ezekiel chapter 38, verse 16. The passage further references God's prior revelations through his servants, the prophets of Israel, who had foretold this event in the past. These prophets had spoken of the coming of Gog and his confrontation with Israel as part of God's plan. Ezekiel chapter 38, verse 17, Gaza and the coming apocalypse. Though the rapture has started, the Bible also talks about Gaza. In the days of Noah, the earth faced its impending doom due to the overwhelming violence that had taken root within its very fabric. Genesis chapter 6, verses 11-13 tells us, "Now the earth was corrupt in the sight of God, and the earth was filled with violence." Hamas. God looked on the earth, and behold, it was corrupt, for all flesh had corrupted their way upon the earth. Then God said to Noah, "The end of all flesh has come before me, for the earth is filled with violence because of them, and behold, I am about to destroy them with the earth." Similarly, in our present times, violence has become a pervasive force covering our world. The echoes of ancient struggles resonate in the modern conflicts we witness today. It is fascinating to observe how the Bible connects places like Gaza, historically associated with the land of the Philistines, to the impending apocalypse. Zephaniah, chapter 2 verses 4 and 5 prophesies, Gaza will be abandoned and Ashkelon left in ruins. At midday, Ashdod will be emptied and Ekron uprooted. Woe to you who live by the sea, you Kerethite people! The word of the Lord is against you, Canaan, land of the Philistines. He says, I will destroy you, and none will be left. The land by the sea will become pastures having wells for shepherds and pens for flocks. That land will belong to the remnant of the people of Judah. They will find pasture there. In the evening, they will lie down in the houses of Ashkelon. The Lord their God will care for them and restore their fortunes. Zephaniah chapter 2, verses 6 and 7. See also Joshua 15 for Judah's allotted boundaries. This prophecy has begun to find fulfillment in the present day. Ashkelon, once a part of the historical land of the Philistines, is now part of Israel proper and is experiencing the blessings of God's favor. Remarkably, we can witness how God's hand has intervened in history, reuniting at least a portion of those whom he had previously scattered. This is exemplified by the migration of hundreds of French Jews who have made their homes in Israel, particularly in Ashdod and Ashkelon, situated on the country's southern coast. This migration aligns with the prophecy of Zephaniah, which was spoken over 2,600 years ago. Finally, Israel is restored as the land, and later, during the end time, Israel will be restored. As recorded in Ezekiel chapter 39 verses 21 to 29, the words of the prophet Ezekiel provide a profound connection to the ongoing narrative of Israel and Gaza, echoing the themes of restoration and redemption. I will set my glory among the nations. All the nations shall see my judgment which I have executed, and my hand which I have laid on them. So the house of Israel shall know that I am the Lord their God from that day forward. Ezekiel chapter 39 verses 21 and 22. According to their uncleanness and according to their transgressions, I have dealt with them and hidden my face from them. Ezekiel chapter 39 verse 24. However, the prophecy offers a message of hope and restoration. God declares his intention to bring back the captives of Jacob and extend his mercy to the entire house of Israel. He promises to be jealous of his holy name and, after Israel has borne their shame and unfaithfulness, to gather them from the lands of their enemies. When I have brought them back from the peoples and gathered them out of their enemies' lands, and I am hallowed in them in the sight of many nations, then they shall know that I am the Lord their God, who sent them into captivity among the nations, but also brought them back to their land, and left none of them captive any longer. Ezekiel chapter 39 verses 27 and 28. These words paint a vivid picture of God's unwavering commitment to his people, promising not to hide his face from them anymore. The pouring out of his Spirit on the house of Israel is a symbol of divine restoration and renewal. I will not hide my face from them anymore, for I shall have poured out my Spirit on the house of Israel, says the Lord God. Ezekiel chapter 39 verse 29. The Battle of Armageddon, the end time. The rapture has surely started, but this is not the end. According to biblical prophecy, Armageddon's battle will unfold after Israel's restoration, triggered by nations opposing Israel's existence and the division of God's Holy Land. 2 Chronicles chapter 20 verses 1 to 30. This means the end is not here yet. The book of Joel chapter 3 verses 1 and 2 foretells a time when God will gather all nations to the valley of Jehoshaphat, putting them on trial for scattering his people and dividing his land during the restoration of Judah and Jerusalem. The situation in Gaza, historically designated for Judah, and the ongoing violence against Israel have captured God's attention. Widespread violence against Jewish people worldwide intensifies the urgency. With each passing day, the return of Yeshua, Jesus, approaches. Spreading faith is essential, as the Bible teaches it comes from hearing. Stand for Israel and help share the good news with both Jewish and Arab people worldwide through the development of the Messianic Prophecy Bible. What do you think of the current war situation in Israel? Comment below and subscribe for more.